and welcome to Six Figure Signature Offers, the podcast for women in business who want to create brands that become the hot tamale of their industry and sold out scalable offers that bring home the bacon without burning them out. I'm your host, online business strategist Robin Birkin. I've gone from managing 8-figure marketing budgets and big teams to creating 2 multi-6-figure businesses in part-time hours by design. If you're ready to attract Cloud9 clients in droves, sell out your scalable offers, and not bring your laptop to the beach, then welcome, let's go. So you've started the year and you had set these big dreamy goals, whether that was in November or December or January. Now we've hit February and you're actually in the space of starting to execute and implement and starting to think about, okay, well, now it's time to actually put my boots on the ground and get things going in my business and start to actually look at reaching those revenue goals. And you may be in the space right now of being like, oh, hang on, shit. So this episode is perfect. If you are in that space, this is perfect. Whether you have an offer suite already, or whether you are in the space of I need to create some scalable offers in my product suite, whichever camp you're in, this episode's going to be absolutely perfect for you. So we are in the space at the moment in the mastermind of still very much with our clients mapping out some of their revenue goals, or more so to the point, they have mapped out their sales forecasts. We are now going through with them in the mastermind their blueprints. So when you join us in the Peace and Profit Mastermind, I go through and create for you a blueprint. It's not a complex, long document, but it is a document that contains a lot of thought. But we really simplify for you so that you know exactly what to work on, exactly how you are going to meet your revenue goals. We have this blueprint and it's almost like this dashboard of this is what we want to achieve and this is exactly how you're going to get there in the least amount of words possible. So we lay out only a few bullet points and it's a fluid live document. And so we are in the space at the moment of everyone's going through and reviewing and iterating their Sweet 6 blueprints for this year. And very gratefully, one of the big things that we are doing with a number of clients is changing the blueprint, because when they joined the mastermind, they joined and they were like, I want to make 80 to 100,000, literally a client example of a call that I just got off. She joined Peace and Profit, fully booked in her clinic. So she is like a health and wellness practitioner with many years experience and a lot of demand inside her clinic, to the point that she's got a wait list many weeks out to work with her. And one of the goals that she had when we first started working together was to make $80,000 to $100,000 from her scalable offer. So together, that is something that we've pretty much achieved now. So we just got off the call and we looked at, okay, what does the next goal look like? What would it look like over the next 2 or 3 years to reach the next level of goal? And so we just sat down and mapped that out with her. On a hot seat call this week, we had another client, again, same thing. Join the mastermind wanting to make 6+ figures from her scalable offers. And now we've started to look at, okay, well, what would a $500,000 business look like? So that is the type of work that we do inside of Peace and Profit. So you might be also in the space of looking at, okay, what does the year look like for me? And now in the space of implementing. And here are the top 5 places that I see folks go wrong, whether it's in the planning stage or whether it's in actually implementing. And sometimes the reason why you cannot achieve your goals inside implementation is because the plan was kind of doomed to fail right from the start, if that makes sense. So I've got 5 biggest mistakes that I see today. Number 1 is pricing too low. Now, if you are thinking, but I just want to be accessible, Go back and listen. It was maybe 10 episodes ago about why you'll never want to be accessible again. But a case in point, the client who we looked at, what would a $500,000 business look like for her, has an offer. Now, when she first joined us in the Peace and Profit Mastermind, she almost had a collection of offers that were at the most accessible of accessible that you could get in the market. And we looked at those offers, and one of the first things we saw was that probably her most successful in terms of quantity offers, and the one that she was probably promoting and talking about the most, the one that she was pushing everyone towards the most, and the one that she'd been pouring the most time, energy, effort into was actually the one that was literally only making her the equivalent of about $1,000 per month. So when she first joined the mastermind, the number one thing we did was have a look at that product suite and actually looked at what are your money makers? So in terms of the time and effort you put in terms of the revenue that your product suite is making, what within that product suite is actually making the lion's share of your revenue, and how do we adjust our time, energy, and effort to actually be reinvested or diverted into those offers. And this is how, if I had to say in one sentence, how we got her from 60 grand to 100 plus thousand. In the simplest terms, that was the number one thing that we did. It was we looked at her energy and in her investment. And every client that I have who is reaching and exceeding their goals is doing so with an offer that is at the more premium end of their market. So that it has a spectrum. So for you, that might be a $397 offer, or it may be multiple four figures in terms of the offers that you have. But you will radically change the revenue that you make in your business when you stop trying to be accessible and start trying to offer a premium offer and obviously match the service to that. So when you're looking at your offers and you want to create that Goldilocks price, again, go back and listen to the episode that I wrote all about how to get your Goldilocks price. You do not want to be the lowest in the market. You want to be looking at what is a really premium service that I can provide that has far more opportunities to get my clients results, and that speaks to the person who can afford it and is willing to pay to have that problem solved at that level. Now, the client that I was speaking about on the call that we just had, when we were speaking about, well, what would it look like to reach $500,000 with our offers and our offer suite? One of the things that we looked at is the caliber of clients, the ability that the clients that we're targeting with that particular price point currently in that premium offer, what does that look like? And in order to reach $500,000, the conclusion that we came to was that the clients who she is serving currently at that current price point would not be able to continue on in her program and support the investment into that. So she would need to, in order to reach her revenue goals, have a product at a higher price. But in order to have a product at a higher price, she needs to serve a higher caliber of clients as well. But if you're constantly stuck at, nope, I just want low ticket offers at $27, blah, 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 the quantity of sales that you need to make in order to sustain or create or reach the revenue that you want to achieve, oh my God, the volume is so high. So one of the number one things that I see people go wrong with is pricing too low. I would always look to what would it look like to be at more of the premium end of what I'm offering, right? And when you don't have the volume of audience, you need to start with a more bespoke and premium offer. What would it look like to price higher and serve higher as a result? So, number 2 on that list is not creating demand. You need to have demand in your industry if you want to sell your offers. A really good benchmark of demand is whether when you open the doors, you have people purchasing right at the start of your doors open, or when you have DMs from people who are asking how they can work with you, or if you have one-to-one services. That's a really good indication of the warmth and demand that you have built in your business. If you are continually selling to the same people and the same people and the same people, if you don't have that momentum in your business, if you are not seen as the obvious choice, like one of the number one people for a particular transformation in your industry, you are forever not going to have the sales that you want in your business. Ask yourself in 2026, what would it look like? Who would I need to be, and how would I need to show up, and what would I need to prioritize in order to be in demand in my business? You need a volume leads machine, and you need content that creates demand, as well as the content cadence and combination that positions you as the ultimate authority in your niche. That is the kind of work that we do inside Peace and Profit. And that is how we have clients who are achieving their goals and selling out their offers, is because they are factoring all of this into the equation. So when we look at what I call the Peace and Profit framework, we have 3 core areas of success. Number 1 is sales, and that is your offers, your positioning in the market, and your campaigns. Then we look at demand. And when you have these 2 things in your business, that is when you have the ability to reach your revenue goals. And the third one is basically your time, your team, your automations, AI, systems, all of the things that allow you to then unbottleneck yourself from the business and then create offers that you can market, sell, and serve at scale, because you are now the number 1, the numero uno in your industry, because you have demand. So too many people will be like, oh, I'm just going to open the cart and just get it done and get in a couple of sales. And they perpetually do that again and again and again and again, without, in between those times, generating the volume of leads that they need and generating and cultivating demand into their offers, becoming that magnetic person in their industry. And they do that, and their launches kind of contract and contract and contract every single time until they're at that point of panic, because they don't know what they're doing wrong. And what they're doing wrong is that they're not looking at that demand piece with a big priority. Number 3, and this is really specific to the people who are in the camp this year of, I want to create some form of scalable offer. So you might be a consultant, you might be a service provider, you might have a clinic that offers one-to-one services, you might have an agency, whatever that looks like in terms of like a high delivery model. And you might say that 2026 is the year that you are creating a scalable offer, whether that is a mastermind, a group program, an online course, which online courses are not dead, by the way. You may have the goal to create that. And then what you are going to do is say, okay, well, I'm going to create all the modules. I've got to record that. I've got to do X, Y, Z. I need to create a sales page, create a webinar, whatever, depending on your level of how much you know about launching and creating scaling offers, especially if you're already in the marketing space. You may be like, oh, wow, okay, now I'm going to create 7,221 assets in order to have this scalable offer. That's not how you do it. Because too many times people are creating an offer that their audience doesn't want, or you're creating an offer that doesn't have your audience and that open feedback loop in mind in order to really understand and know what is going to get them the transformation that you are ultimately selling. So number one, you need to know that they want to pay to solve the problem that you're offering. And number two, what you want to do is create that program with the service and delivery and aha moments that they need, with the tools and the resources that they also need in order to fully get that transformation. You should be so concerned in your business every day, whether you've launched your offer or not launched your offer, with the transformation that it is that you promise. Everything is about, well, how do I make sure and how do I continually be optimizing to get my clients from zero to hero? It's very hard to do that if you create that in isolation. So what you need to do is, number one, validate that the offer that you have is going to sell in the market. That's a really quick process. That is a very simple, very quick way to get paid to create your offer. And that is how you should do it, because then what happens is the people in that pilot round, we call this an ascertain launch. You could get an ascertain launch off the ground by the end of this month, and you could get paid to create your offer. We do this all the time. It's one of the things that I am the absolute best at. We very simply shake the tree. Who are my warmest people? They're all there. They're all lurking. Let's get them involved and motivated in creating that first round of the program. And then you create it with them in mind as you go. That doesn't mean you have to be live creating it. That doesn't mean you have to really speedily whiz through and create it. But there is a way that you can create that with them in mind, get that open feedback, and then make sure that that is the best program it can be. When you don't validate it, you potentially run the risk of spending months, and I've had clients who have spent years creating everything only to discover that either it doesn't get the transformation that they had ultimately desired because it was built with one person only, them, not a group of people of their ideal clients. But number two, oh my God, that it's actually something that people don't want or that people want but aren't prepared to pay for. You don't want to waste any work. And then number four, in terms of mistakes, is that people wait too long. The reason why you wait too long is because you think that it's going to be months or years that you have to create, 12,000 different things. You have to record all these videos. You have to do all this work before you can launch and sell. And that is the surefire way to stay stuck for months or even years. I had another client who is in the mastermind, and she was one of the top sellers of low ticket products. And she's well connected, she's well regarded. Her audience are, if I had to give the definition of a warm audience, she has it. She gets emails with something like a 16% click rate. My mind is blown by this. She will show up on us and be invited to a summit, and she will get 500 email subscribers from it. She's the definition of building a warm audience, right? But she was spending all day fucking around with low ticket offers. She had to create a new low ticket offer every 2 months. That is an exhausting way to run a business. So she had the idea that she would create and launch a signature offer in her business at that premium-ish price point. There were all of the mindset monkeys and outside voices telling her all of the ways that this would not work for her, that her audience only wanted low-ticket offers, that the type of audience that she had would only buy low-ticket offers. Well, fast forward, and she completely sold out her pilot round. She's continued to now sell that 2 more times. So it is well and truly validated. That belief is busted. But she had waited so long to create that signature offer because of all the work that was involved. Is then validating and then delivering that a lot of work? Yes. But she would have been years creating that program if she had not gone through and validated it and then just committed to the process. It's now done. It is now like ultimate relief because she has created that whole program start to finish, and now she has her sales page created. She has her launch emails created. Everything is created. So every launch after this gets to be easier, but it would have taken her years, like months, if not years, to have got that off the ground if she committed to continuing to wait and then didn't validate and pre-sell that offer first. Number 5, the last one, is continuing to ignore audience growth. You need to prioritize attraction in your business. Growing your audience needs to become a priority, showing up consistently wherever your ideal clients are. For some of my clients, that is LinkedIn. For some of my clients, that is Instagram. Wherever your audience are, you need to prioritize growing your audience. And if you don't know how to grow your audience and your email list, you need to make sure that that is a priority. Visibility is one of the core metrics of success. I don't care what anyone says. I looked at a sales page of mine from a couple of years ago the other day that had the line, followers kind of do pay the bills. When you have an offer and you have the right type of content, you literally can print money from the followers that you have in your audience. But you need to have new people continually coming into your audience, learning you exist, and then being nurtured into your programs and services. And where I have clients who have launches that continually don't perform well, the number one reason for that is because in between this launch and the last one, they didn't prioritize audience growth. So those are the top 5 mistakes that I see experts make when they're launching or creating new offers. Thank you so much for tuning in this week, and I cannot wait to catch you next week. Bye for now.